Okay, this is show number 94. It's about the pumpkin virtual show. Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome. You are looking at our signature pumpkin for the year 2023. This show today is going to be a synopsis of our virtual show that we did in October. If you are interested in any of these pumpkins that you see in the show, you can check out the website, see if they're still available. We do sell our products online, and tonight's show, we're going to be making some of our specialty products, our one-of-a-kind, very unique pumpkin, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the company. So we've got Jake, Chris, and Oliver in the house working tonight. I'm the camera person, Michelle, and in the background is Beth running some of the tech stuff. We answer comments in the live feed. We do this on YouTube and Facebook. So if you miss a show, you can always go back and check out another one. But we do our best to answer your questions. So it's a great way to learn about glass making. The show happens every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. And I can tell you the week after this show was absolutely amazing. We did some really cool things on it. So if you're watching this, you might enjoy the other shows. Check out our YouTube page. All right, you can see Chris is adding some color in the tray there. This is our special gold color. He's talking about how it's one of its favorite colors. And when we make our pumpkins, we attach colors in different ways. Now this shot you're going to see again a few times. The shot where we put the mold into the glass or the glass into the mold, there's 4 different molds that we can use. Actually 5, 6, 10, 20. It depends on what we're making. For this particular show night, I think he has 4 of them set on the floor and 1 for the stem. Now, he blew the glass and attached some color. I don't know if you saw that. It happened real quick, right onto the surface, and it only stuck in certain areas. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that. There it is. It's kind of sparkly. So think of sugar cookies. When you're rolling a cookie and you add that decorative sugar onto it, how it kind of sticks on the surface. That's what we just did with this pumpkin here. We call these our sugar pumpkins, and they have a layer of glass that's not completely melted in, so it's very reflective and beautiful. Now there's only a few colors that work well with this. We've tried many of them, and we've reduced it down to a few colors that work really well. All right, this little bit of glass on the bottom is going to be how we sign the piece. With all that texture on the pumpkin, it's really difficult to hand sign them. Not to mention it takes a lot of time, and sometimes it scratches off. So by signing our pieces this way, we put the stamp in the hot glass, and it will be in there forever. All right, another cool part of making pumpkins is the stem. Each night we do our show, we have a special questions where we ask our customers, what makes the perfect stem? Or we get everyone's opinion. So here, this is what the stem looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 curls. The question during the show was, how many curls make a perfect pumpkin? Now, Jake in the orange shirt, he likes his curls wrapped tightly around the top of a pumpkin. I like my curls when they cascade down the side of the pumpkin. Everyone's got a different opinion. And so we ask a question during the live show. Everyone can put it in the chat, but if you send us an email with your answer, you're entered to win a contest where every day every show we pick out a pumpkin to win. Now, once the pumpkin is finished, a torch evens out the heat a little bit, and then it goes into a cooling oven where overnight it comes down. So we're going to do a couple pumpkins during the show, and they'll all cool down together. This next pumpkin, Chris decided to place it in this one. This is our 20-point mold. The glass is not orange. I mean, it is orange, but it's hot right now. So that's why it's going to appear, every piece that we make is going to look like it's orange in color. They're all different. Now, Oliver's blowing through the pipe. We do an Italian style glass blowing. And so Oliver blowing through the pipe allowed Chris to sit at the other end and shape it. You noticed he just made it crooked. And why did he do that? Well, Chris feels like in the pumpkin patch, when you go shopping, there are always different pumpkins. They are crooked, they are straight, they are long stems, they are tiny stems. And so we like to make our pumpkin patch look realistic. When you shop in the gallery or you buy the pumpkins for your home, there are many different shapes and varieties that are available. So you can pick out a beautiful grouping that works for you. What happens with our customer is they purchase one or two their first year, then they come back in the sequential years and they look for ones to add to their collection. Because we change the colors every year, there's always something new to add to the collection. And then over the years, they have a beautiful array of our glass pumpkins. Now, we're going to knock this off here. And again, the stem is the funnest part. So Oliver's bringing over some hot glass. It's going to be the stem for this pumpkin. It's been heated. It's got a core there of some white. And by pulling up, it stretches out. Now, on occasion, it doesn't stretch out perfect. But using your tools and adapting, a master can really take anything and work with it. So Chris has cut off what he needed. And he'll continue to wrap that stem around the pumpkin, putting it proportionately, correctly on the pumpkin. So it just looks amazing. I mean, the skill these guys have is just astounding. All right, back to the glass blowing. And this pipe is our large pipe. So I can tell you right now, this is going to be a bigger pumpkin. This is the inner core. You can only scoop out so much glass at a time. So he got a little bit on his pipe and now he's going in for the big dig. And the pot holds about 250 pounds of glass. We are a small studio. We are not a production studio. We make enough to supply our gallery and our online business, but our main focus of the business is more arts education. So taking the hot glass from the furnace, did a little bit of shaping, and now he's adding the layers of color. This is actually going to be a Van Gogh pumpkin. This is another one of our signature pumpkins. Van Gogh patterns take about 6 different layers of colors on them. Some of the colors are powder, some of them are more granule like sugar, and sometimes they're very chunky. For this one here, the Van Gogh pattern, Chris grabs some glass and he twists it up and it makes like these vortex. Think of like your weatherman when you watch him on TV and they talk about the storm rolling in and how the storm rolling in turns into these swirls. Well, that's going to be what happens here with this pumpkin. Now, I don't have any finished images of these. They sold right after the show, and so they went out the door before I was able to get a photograph of them. My shipping girl just scooped them right up and off they went. So we're just going to have to work with what we see here. The thing about the Van Gogh is it cools down the glass. So there's going to be a lot of reheating to be done on this piece. And many times we'll fast forward some of that heating process. This table is called a marver. It's what shapes the glass. And you can start to see some of the swirls and the patterns come out. This will be a nice big pumpkin. That's another reason why we have some of those bigger molds here. It allows us to have options when we're choosing which mold we want to go into based on the size and shape of our pumpkin. Now, the work that we do is also a lot of teamwork. There is not one person who makes the piece from start to finish. So you're going to notice Jake and Chris working on this together. Oliver's blowing air in the pipe right now while Jake is squeezing down what will eventually be the top of the pumpkin. It really helps on these larger pieces to have someone turn the pipe for you so you can have both hands on the piece while it's blowing out. There's some great swirls in there. He's using a little air here to cool down the neck of the piece. And then the jacks are where the pumpkin will come off the pipe. Again, Chris likes those splasher ones, so this is on a wooden paddle, and he pushes down on it and it became a flat bottom that's sideways. Now this is really tricky for the glass blowers to work. From here on out, it's a little awkward because it's not centered and even. But that's okay, because all they're doing is putting the stamp on it and then cool stem. You can see the layers of colors, the swirls, the white, the green. There's a nice amber that's in there. All right, so the next part, the stem, we have the brick set up at an angle, so when we apply the stem, it will be straight. Makes it easier for the craftsmen when they're putting the handle up straight. Adding the handle, and then Oliver's blowing down this tube just to kind of cool it off because it's really hot. And the pumpkin base itself can't stay out too long or it will crack. Talk about that teamwork. Again, Jake likes his stems nice and tight, so he wraps it up on the top there. Each piece that is made now needs to cool off, so this is going to go sit with our other pumpkin. Get a nice idea of the color pattern there. And away it went. Now, Jake wants to try the super cane pumpkin, which is really nice. These are glass rods that have been colored, and he's going to set them into this mold. Now, they're room temperature, right? He's holding on to these. And very carefully setting them in this mold. This is like a quick way to do this kind of piece. The bottom of the mold is round here, so you can see the cane doesn't go all the way into the bottom, but that's okay because he's going to cut that part off and he's going to cut the pieces off at the top, and the middle third is going to be the perfect pumpkin. And Jake is very adventurous. He's always willing to try new things, and he was like, I think this would be a good idea and I think we should show it to you. So we got this new torch, and those cans are room temperature. You have to preheat them because if we take the hot glass and blow right into that mold without preheating it, it won't work. The cans won't stick, they'll crack, they'll break. And so this is going to take about 5 minutes of preheating this mold. And he's got to get the glass shaped up. So this is why you always work as a team. Together you can shape and form the product. He's going to go gather some glass. He's looking at his types of color. And once the glass is ready, he's going to drip it into that mold, and it will be a perfect fit. You'll notice he's shaping it up. This marver table allows you to roll on the surface without sticking. The glass won't stick to it. It's a perfect way to shape it up. And once it's shaped and ready, and he's got the bubble in there, he will be able to attach the canes to the side of the piece. Getting faster, he wants it as hot as it can be. And look at that, perfect drip in. This would be like touchdown on the football field. Perfect, it's a touchdown. As it came out, you can see those extra ones are longer on the top. Eventually, they're going to fold in and fold over themselves. It's totally fine. We know that's part of the process, and that's part of the scrap. On the bottom, the canes came together, but it doesn't meet. He wants to make those line up together. And the way you do that is cut off this big hunk. This is solid glass right here. It's got the pattern and the design on it. And it's also extra glass, too much glass. So you can see as the camera adjusts, the color got right there for a second. Chris is reheating so that Jake can be ready. Oliver's ready to blow. Jake's got his paddle in hand and his jacks for the next step. So this ends up being about the size of a volleyball. It's a pretty big pumpkin. So the bottom's shaped there, but now the neck needs to be put into the piece. And this is at the top. And the reason it looks like it's like a disco ball and flashing, it's just somehow the camera was adjusting its flash And so when the flash came on, it looked like it changed colors. Okay, Chris is turning, Jake is making that neck, and if needed, Oliver was able to blow, so that's great teamwork. Cooled off quite a bit now. It will be a bright orange at the end, but it's kind of dull right now because it's still hot. It's a super cool pattern. When it spins fast, it looks great. When it spins slow, it looks awesome too. There's the stamp on the bottom. And now get ready for the stem. Super cool, my favorite part. So traditional shape, because the color pattern is what's speaking here, so we're not going into any special fancy shapes. The stem is added and pulled up. It looks like a nice even stem. And then the pipe comes into place where Chris can wrap it around. Jake giving him a nod, like, let's go for the big stem. The pipe is used here just to make sure the stem doesn't touch on itself, and then the stem is wrapped around. We use a variety of torches to smooth out any areas that were cut or could be sharp. It's a really nice way to spot heat something. And while we're at it, we just tuck that stem right inside. And there we have it. So, tweezers are hot. Anything that's touching the pumpkin has to be hot. So when we go to put it away in the cooling oven, the tool that we use to pick it up is also hot. They have to be, otherwise they will crack and break the pumpkin. So super cool. The stem is an essential part of the pumpkin. In my opinion, the funnest part. Now, we have a couple of kneeling ovens. This one for the show just happened to be the farthest one across the shop. Oliver's there to open the door. Everything we've made for the day is inside, and so that's a pretty full oven. If you like this show, you can catch us every week. We'd love to see you again. Follow us on YouTube. We're called The Glass Academy. Thanks for watching, everyone.